Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Since it's still Ramadan, for the May theme I'm gonna use the same colors that I used in Ramadan spreads. If you haven't watched that video, I'll link it in the description box below. As you can see that the sketch is already made, but it is on half of the paper and the lower and top part of the page is still empty. I'm going to use this mauve paper and I'm gonna cut random parts for the upper and lower sides of the paper. Just randomly cut out two scraps with corners. Once you have these two pieces cut out, you can simply trim them according to the size that you want. For me, I wanted the pages to cover the edges, but I didn't want it to cover the center part. So I trimmed it a little bit in order to get more central space. Once you're satisfied with your paper look, simply glue it. I kept the paper quite small because of the sketch that I'm going to make on top of it. The same sketch that you can see on the blank paper, I'm also going to draw that on the scrap paper as well. I'm just adding some guidelines. The central line is your main line because the sketch is around that line, so I'm going to pointer it. And I've created this sketch along it. For the blank page, I'm going to color the sketch. I've used the same three doodles that I used in my previous Ramadan spreads. I colored the center part, whereas I left the scrap paper part with black marker only. Then I simply wrote May in the center and highlighted it with that color, and this is the completed look. Now coming on to the next pages, somehow this didn't got recorded when I was cutting it, but as you can see I have this sketch made out and I'm going to cut it according to it. These are the last 2 weeks of Ramadan. I have already showed the Ramadan setup and these are the weeklies. I'm using the same color technique that I used in the lanterns in previous video as well. The yellow in the center, then purple and pink. I'm going to follow the same technique for all of these. I use light colors because it's easy to write on them, and simply pointer all of it to make it more prominent. Now for the header, I'm going to use scrap paper again. Trim it according to the size that you want, and you can directly write your header on top of it, or you can use a blank sheet of paper like I used. Since I wanted to show both Ramadan dates and also the May dates, I wrote both of them. Highlight these. I used a yellow highlight for these because the paper is mauve already, so it will be more prominent and bright. Now simply cut along the writings. Once you have it cut out, arrange it on the paper. Arrange how you're gonna attach the paper. Simply glue it. Also make sure that your sketches are not showing from below. Either your paper cover it or erase those sketches before attaching this paper on top of it. And once you attach these, your first week is done. Since the cutting on this side was not showing much, so I decided to highlight it with a marker. Make sure you put something underneath it so it won't get on the other pages. You can do it with any color that you're using. Coming to the last week, I have these lanterns which I'm going to write the date on. These lanterns don't have much details like the previous ones that I made in Ramadan setup video, simply because I was going to write the dates in them, and if it had too much details the dates won't show. But I still used all the same colors, and I'm going to outline it with a black pointer as well to make it prominent. For the boxes, you can use any color to outline them, or you can fill them as well, but since the last week that I drew right now was filled or colored, so I left these boxes empty. Then I'm going to use this golden markers for the lines or the strings. I'm also going to add some details on the lanterns, and I'm going to outline it with a black pointer. Make sure to outline everything because outlining makes it so much detailed and so much realistic. For the header, I'm also going to use the same technique. I'm just going to glue them. Since the string that I made was quite high above, so I had to change my writing style, and the scrap paper used was a bit smaller as well. Now simply highlight this cutting as well, and your last week is done. Now for the flip through. This was the Ramadan cover page, the calendar, Quran tracker, water tracker and sleep tracker. These are the Ramadan goals and quote page. Then the gratitude and reflection. Then weekly, week 1. This is the week 2. This spread design had 10 pages since I had to manage it into 4 different threads or styles. This is the week 3 then, and the last week. This is it for Ramadan spreads. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.